Hello, my name's Leona from Super ConsciousSoul, and this is your inner child reading for October 2017. This is a reading for our collective inner child, okay? So it's like we've got the divine feminine, we've got the divine masculine. This is our inner child. Sometimes we forget to nurture that part of ourselves, that child that we all have inside us, that needs that love, that needs that attention, that needs to feel like we're kind of parenting ourselves in a way. Okay, so the personality of your inner child, or our collective inner child, is the Three of Pentacles. So this talks about working on our self-worth. It talks about working on our value. It talks about working on the things that make us us, working on our creative things, working on the things that we can build, the things that we can nurture, the things that we could have done probably as a child and had a talent in, but kind of left it a little bit, or we decided not to nurture that part of ourselves. This talks about changes coming in through nurturing different parts of our creative self, different parts of our inner child, because our inner child kind of thrives off of the creativity, off of the value of being in our essence who we are supposed to be without limiting ourselves. So here we are, just working on ourselves at the moment, working on our value, working on producing the best version of us. Yeah. Okay, so our overall oracle card for the reading is number 5, Orphaned. Now, this can talk about a time, going back to a time when we was 5 years old and we felt like we were orphaned, or we felt like we didn't fit in, or we felt like we were displaced. Or it's also that sense that we're going through a lot of changes at the moment, because the 5 is about change, and it does cause an instability within ourselves. So it's reminding you to let your inner child know that it's okay not to fit in, that it's okay to be different, that it's okay to follow who you want to be and what your passions are and what your inner child wants. It's about telling our inner child that we are not alone, we're here. And essentially, it's about that love of ourselves, so that we don't feel like we need other people surrounding us in order to feel whole, in order to feel loved, in order to feel nurtured. It's like we can give that to ourselves, and while honouring ourselves and while being who we are supposed to be, we don't feel that sense of abandonment. We don't feel that sense of loss. I'm also getting that with this full moon that's just gone, the 5th of October. It could be about us releasing and healing that abandonment from the past. This could be coming up, and it could be being triggered because we are bringing it to a surface level in order to heal. Okay, so an area of your life that your inner child causes trouble. Okay, so we have the Lovers, yeah? So our inner child is asking us to not sabotage ourselves in relationships, let's say, to not search for somebody else to complete us. It's about deciding that we complete ourselves, and deciding that ultimately we must love ourselves first before we can then become in any union with anyone else. It's also asking us to nurture both sides of ourselves as well, because we do have the beast, the beauty and the beast there. So it's talking about nurturing both sides of ourselves and not putting that mask of beast on ourselves, knowing that within every beast there's a soul, and within any beauty there could be a beast. It's about knowing that we have those both of those sides of our nature, and to nurture both of those sides of our nature, and to not and to just accept them both for what they are. Okay, so what do we need to nurture in terms of our inner child? So we have the Strength card. So this is asking us to listen to our inner child. It's asking us to really listen to what they have to say, to listen. But with it can also talk about sometimes getting to a place of rage or fear can push us to listen more clearly, can push us to be more alert to the dangers or to what's around us. Yeah, it's asking us to have inner confidence in ourselves and inner strength, not necessarily needing to overpower others, more about nurturing that confidence in ourselves in order to create a strength that gives us a faith, that makes us feel protected, that makes us feel like we are protected from within. But also it's about having that faith as well, knowing that the more we are confident within ourselves and the more we have faith in the outer, it's going to bring our inner child more into alignment with where we're going in life, with what we want to do, with what we want to achieve. It's about that inner strength, that inner balance, yeah. But yeah, listening to ourselves. And also it's about healing. It's about soft touch. It's about being gentle with our inner child, not trying to... If you have a child and you shout at it, it's not going to respond in a healthy way. It's asking us just to nurture that child within us and not to kind of shout at it, or to not get into when it's in fear, because it's a natural thing for us to be in fear. So instead of shouting at our inner child or shouting at ourselves for reacting a certain way, it's about nurturing what's inside us with confidence so that we can face that fear. Okay, so where to set limits on your inner child? 3 of Rods. So this is about sometimes it's about, with our inner child, trying to remain in the present. Yeah, trying to remain in that moment of now, and noticing what's around us now and not feeling fear to go for it. It's about exchanges, negotiations, challenges, travel, movement forward. It's about being in a place of confidence and being in a place of self-reliance, that when opportunities do come up, we can take them, we can seize them without sitting back on that fear, yeah, sitting back on a sense of inaction because we're scared to move forward. This is allowing us to see all the opportunities that are available, but you can't see that if you're in fear, yeah. So, where to let your inner child run free? We have the 6 of Swords. So mentally, your inner child wants to move away from all of those mental conditions that you held yourself down with. Like, oh, when I was younger, my life was like that. Like, your inner child is trying to get away from that. It's trying to change. It's trying to move from more rougher waters into a more smoother place, into a more a more dreamlike energy, a more going with the flow, let's say, yeah? It's about not holding ourselves back with mental thoughts about, well, when I was 5, I wasn't really good at that, so I'm never going to try that again. Or, no, I'm no good at art. I haven't drawn since I was 3, but I'm no good at art. It's about letting those things go and allowing the new creative energies to come in and allowing ourselves to say, well, actually, I'm really quite good at that. Or, oh, look what I've just found out I'm good at. Or it's moving our headspace mentally into a different space. So, gifts that will come from healing your inner child as a collective consciousness are the 6 of Rods. Now, this is not only the victory card, but it's also, we've got Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz, and you've got that thing of there's no place like home. It's like coming home to yourself. When we have that confidence, when we can move forward in love and not hold ourselves to old stories, when we can work on our self-love and our value and our creativity and not blocking ourselves, and when we can move past all the labels and the constrictions that we've put on ourselves in order to move to clearer waters, we come to the victory card, we come to the 6 of Wands, we come to being halfway tapped into our spirituality, our passions, our drive, our energy. But there's also with this card a sense of there's no place like home, yeah? It's like with this card we are brought back to ourselves. We're brought back into a kind of reset. That child that was never manipulated, that inner child that was never manipulated, that had everything they wanted and had the perfect thing. This is being in touch with yourself, but it takes a lot of work. There's a lot of work to do this month. Take care. Stay blessed.